All right, we're live on Thursday night. Just a little bit behind schedule, but it takes me a few minutes to get things rounded around here. Welcome. Thank you all for stopping by. We'll do a little talking. I figured a little bit about, we'll talk a little about Woodstock. There's a lot to talk about there, and it's a big, big thing going around now. Ferd, how you doing? Nice to see you. Joseph Kelly, I see that. I do have a video on Dusty Hill. Come out, I believe, about a month ago. Look it up on the channel. But if you're talking about Elvis Presley, no, I haven't done any videos on him or any of his musicians. Yes, Ted Gibson, you're on time. Well, I found a way to put this on so we could all, I could put it out first so we could, people would know what was going to happen tonight. I need to probably get a schedule and do these once a week. We'll have to pick a day and find out what's best for everybody. So anyhow, wanted to take the day and start. We'll talk a little bit about Woodstock from 1969. And you can ask some questions or give some of your opinions. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And later on down the line, we'll take a few minutes. And you guys can talk. We'll talk about whatever you want to tonight. Just do what we have to and have a little bit of fun on a Thursday night. What's up, Steve McCombs? Nice to see you. JW from Ohio. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you too. We're going to talk about Woodstock and how it happened and how it all came together. Because I think, as most of you know, it was hard getting that concert put together. There is no doubt about it. The guys that organized it, I'm sure some of you know their names, Artie Kornfeld and Michael Lang, and the Money Men, John Roberts and Joel Rosenman. I believe that was his last name, Rosenman. Yeah. They had the whole idea, and they had the festival. They had planned this for 6 months. They had the site all put together, and a month before the concert was to take off, the county, the city, the town they was going to do it in, they was going to hold the festival at the Howard Mills Industrial Park in Walk Hill, New York, which was about 30 miles out of the town of Woodstock. But about a month before the festival, the town succeeded in banning the event, and they were left holding the bag with a bunch of money tied up. Yeah, the documentary was really good. So, anyway, Michael Lang went out and started searching, and he run across somebody who give him the name of a farmer named Max Yasker. He was I believe he was a Jewish Russian immigrant. He'd been over here, his mom and dad moved here, and he owned a dairy farm. Yes, thank the music gods for Max, that's for sure, because without him, I don't think they would have got the concert off the ground. They barely, when the concert started, Richie Havens was up on stage playing. They got him to start. He wasn't even supposed to open, but it was such a fiasco trying to get it all put together. While Richie Havens was playing, if you watch in the background, you'll see guys working and still building on the stage while he was playing. That's how short the time frame they was on. So anyway, But old Max, he thought about it. And the story goes, now Max, he wasn't in good health. I believe he was 49 years old at the time. And he had a bad heart. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if he was contemplating retirement at this time or not, but it was just a few years after Woodstock that he did retire and sell his farm. But what he did do, he sat down with Michael Lang. Now, you know, Michael, he was kind of the hippie dude of the whole bunch. And he said that Max was a straight-up, honest guy. Now, but he was a businessman. But as you get into the story later on, you'll realize it wasn't all just about the money to Max. It wasn't. Now, we're talking about a guy, you know, he was very much in favor of the Vietnam War. He was a conservative Republican at the time, and there was lots and lots of people that did not want the hippies coming around there. And Max figured, well, you know, if they want to use these fields he had out there, they were his hay fields to feed his dairy cows, his farm. And he sat down with a pencil and piece of paper with Michael Lang, and he figured it all out. And he said, you know, this is what it's going to cost. And as the story goes, nobody really, I've seen the price everywhere. They rented it for $10,000 all the way up to $75,000 they paid him to rent that land. If I remember correctly, and this is off of memory, Michael Lang said it was $65,000 at one time, or $60,000 in that price range. So I'm guessing it was on the high side. There's no doubt about it. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, but again, you know, that was his hayfield that would feed his cattle during the winter. So anyway, they hammered out a deal, and Max said, you know, we'll go for it. Well, the people in town did not like this at all, and they actually started putting out signs that said, don't buy Yasgur's milk. You know, he loves the hippies. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, you know, what would this guy be thinking? Well, what happened? His wife said that her husband saw that sign, and she said, I knew darn well he was going to let them have their festival on our ground then. That's the kind of guy he was. You know, he said he did this. Sure, he did it to make some money and to keep his farm up, but he also did it because he wanted to get the generation gap closed. He may have not have seen eye to eye with what the younger generation believed, but Max was open-minded enough to respect what they thought. The sad part is you can't, there was really not much said. Max did an interview in 70, I believe, or 71 with Life magazine and talked a little bit about the concert. But in the middle of 1971, Max moved down here to Florida. He moved down the Keys to Marathon. He sold his farm out, and he died just a year and a half later. He died in 1973, in the winter of 73. You know, I'd sure like to hear what he had to say about it then, you know. Oh, yeah, back then it was a lot of money. Hi, Ken's Woodworking. How you doing? Yes, it was a lot of money back then, but he had a big farm. I believe he had, I want to say, 600 head of cattle that he milked. And here's, what do you got there, JW? Let me see. Roughly 52 years ago, when we think back on all that has changed. Yeah. That's a good point. You know, from 1969, you know, you say that would have been the difference between 1918 and 1969. Well, look at it now. From 1970 till now is the same amount of time between 1918 and 1969. I get where you're coming at, JW. That does. Yeah, I was only 12 years old. I wanted to go. There is no way my parents would have let me went. And actually, a friend of mine, his sister and mother went and come back and told some of the cool stories about it. It was one of them times in life that you didn't really realize how important it was until you start looking back on it. I see we're going to have to start. Okay. I had a few bots coming in. I've changed it on here so that the language and the bots don't get to take over. You might notice if you try to post on here, you have to wait about 5 seconds before you can make a second one. I've done that just to stop them bots to start coming in and posting off the wall stuff and everything like that. So anyway, let's get back to this. Where was I at? Oh, I know. We was talking about the way it was at that time. You know, like the amount of money that was generated. Now, they come out in the hole, but the movie they made afterward, they sold the rights. They got some money. They ended up probably coming close to breaking even, would be my guess, the promoters and everything that put that together. I know on some of it, there was people, I think it's still making a clicking noise, hang on. There was people, the people that got on to Max up in town when all them, you know, they estimated the crowd at 400,000. And that's probably a good rough estimate. Well, they was only expecting 50,000. And the people in town who didn't want them there was the ones, now remember, we're talking about 1969, not now. They was selling water. Now, back then, they didn't really sell bottled water, but they was selling water. And Max went out in front of his farm and put a sign and run a hose out there and said, free water. Now, he could have sold the water and made money, too. He wouldn't do something like that to the kids. He also went into his dairy and took all of the milk bottles that he had and filled them up and was giving all the milk he had that day, he'd give away to the kids so they'd have something to drink, because no matter what anybody thinks, that was a mess there. It had to be tough. I can't believe how you know, with the rain, and it was running late, you know, like it didn't end until Monday morning, and I believe it was supposed to end Sunday night. But anyway, you know, on the third day of the festival, right before Joe Cocker came on, you know, get high with what was the song he did? He said it, get high with a little help from me friends. Anyway, right before he came on, they got Max up there. And Max made a little 30-second speech. And I got it jotted down here. I would attempt to play it, but I've been, YouTube's been riding me pretty hard. And if you notice, there's a few videos missing off my channel. So I got to watch what I do right now. But anyway, here's what Max said when he was addressing the crowd, you know, of 400,000 people. Now remember, this guy was 49 years old. He was an old farmer. He only had 2 fingers on his right hand. He had lost 3 of his fingers and everything. But his speech went to the crowd was something like this. He said, I'm a farmer. I don't know how to speak to 20 people at one time, let alone a crowd like this. But I think you people have proven something to the world. Not only to the town of Bethel or Sullivan County or New York State, you have proven something to the world, This is the largest group of people ever assembled in one place. We have had no idea that there would be this sized group. And because of that, you've had quite a few inconveniences as far as water, food, and so forth. Your producers have done a mammoth job to see that you are taken care of. They'd enjoyed a vote of thanks. But above that, the important thing that you've proven to the world is that 500,000 kids, and I call you kids because I have children that are older than you are, 500,000 young people can get together and have 3 days of fun and music and have nothing but fun and music. God bless you for it. And that's what he had to say. And you're talking about a man that had completely different thoughts, the way the younger generation thought, but he knew in his heart to do the right thing and to allow the generation gap to try to come together. And Max Yasgur did that. He did that for the kids because he would have been somebody you would have thought would never have done that. And I don't think it was just the money, because he could have kept the field open and fed his cattle, although they said the rain had really hurt his hayfields that year. But that's what he did. And 400,000 people were together. But Max sold it, and he moved to Marathon, Florida in 1971, and he died a year and a half later. So we never got to know exactly what his thoughts were as to look back on it. He had heart issues and died of a heart attack. Rolling Stone magazine gave him a full-page obituary. So Max did it. Let me look and see. Let me look at some of your, before we go on spouting off about this, let me look and see what y'all got to say. Yeah, Driftwood Guitars. I seem to have heard of that, Ferd. I don't know. I do know that the wood from the stage, they're making some really cool little peace sign necklaces with part of the stage in it. They found the wood, supposedly. If it's true or not, I don't really know for sure. But they're selling them. They might be able to make some wood out of it. I don't know. I'm assuming it was just built out of pine and plywood, and I can't see where a lot of it would have been in good shape, especially after all the rain and everything. Yeah. Yeah, see, you guys are all close to the same age as me. I see you're different ages, 14, 17, 16. Mm-hmm. Heck, some of you guys, most you guys are older than me even. And I thought I was an old guy. No, I couldn't have been there, but oh, they're in the Panhandle. Okay. I got to check that out. They did a video on the guys that found the wood, huh? What's the name of that? Driftwood Guitars in Florida. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and save that somewhere so I don't lose it. Let's see. And I will go look it up later. Not now. I could do it now, but I don't want to take time. Yeah, Kenny, you're about the same age as me. That's right. But you talk about the prices and everything. You know, there was big differences in prices for the bands that played there. Like, well, most of the money is pretty close to everything. They said that Jimi Hendrix, who closed it, he was supposed to close it, what was it, on Sunday night, and it was 8 o'clock Monday morning before he ever got on stage. And that's something I think about, too. He said there was somewhere between 20 and 40,000 people left out of the 400,000. And all of them left before Jimmy played. And I wonder how many of them, if that was the first, last, and only chance they had to see Jimi Hendrix. I don't know how I would have felt if I would have left early. Although I don't know. Being in that mud and that rain with no food and everything, I'm sure some people brought food with them, but a lot of them didn't have enough to last that long. But anyway, they said Jimi Hendrix was the top dollar on that one, and he made $18,000 for that show. Now, that was in 1969, so in 2020, that would revert to about $125,000 is what he made for his part in the show. Like Creedence Clearwater, they made $10,000 for their part in the show. That would revert to around $70,000 in 2020. So you can see they paid good money considering the time it was. I gotta check this place out. I want to see if I can find this, Ferd. Hang on just a minute. I shouldn't do this in the live chat. I'm supposed to keep things going, but you know what? Driftwood Guitars, there it is. Wow. That's some nice looking stuff. The base price on their model is $15,000 for them guitars. I'll have to go in there and check that out. Although I don't think I would, that'd be a little bit out of my budget for an acoustic. I just looked, JW, that they said $15,000. I think Ferd's about $5,000 under. Well, I'll bet them are handmade. When they're handmade like that, you can, they're really good guitars. So anyway, there's a lot. I mean, if you look at Woodstock, at all of the talent, that was there. For the, I think, what did it cost? The 3 days was supposed to be like, I think the gold tickets was $8 a piece, so it was $24. But you had Jefferson Airplane, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and the Who. I probably think, I don't know, my favorites from that show, one of them would have had to have been Santana. From what I've seen, like I said, all I've seen is the videos. I've never, what they have on YouTube and everything like that. But Santana did really good in that young drummer they had. I believe his name was Michael Shreve, something to that effect. He was only like 20 years old, and man, they was playing so fast. They was just smoking fast. Everything they did. So let me hear what was your favorite groups that played at Woodstock? I mean, mine had to be Santana. There's no doubt. That's one. The Who. That was a pretty good one too. That's the one where what was that one crazy dude? He got up on stage and started. He was. I don't know. Abby Hoffman. That was it, and he was up there going on and rambling on. People wanted to hear music. They finally run him off the stage. And when Peter Townsend walked by him, he hit him with the peg head of his guitar. He smacked him and knocked him down. And they said he was bleeding from the neck. And Peter Townsend said it was probably one of the ends of his strings hanging off his guitar. He jobbed him in the neck with it. But that Santana, I thought, did good. Sly and the Stone did good. And of course Hendrix, but there was just so much. There was just so much talent there that I just loved to see. Yeah, they was under 20 years old. Neil Schon too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Who. That'd be great to see them at that time. I mean, I'm sure it was would have been a rough concert in a way, standing out there in the. Some of the day was good, but more once it started raining and getting muddy. I don't know. I have no idea how I would have taken it. I guess maybe if I was young in my teens, it probably wouldn't have bothered me. I never cared much anyway when I was younger. I still don't sometimes. Oh. And Joe Cocker, he did a pretty good job up there. I mean, he was spastic. Most of them, I remember reading an article by Jefferson Airplane. By the time they came on stage, they came on early in the one morning. I believe it was a Sunday morning. And they was 11 hours. They waited backstage 11 hours to come on stage. They was 11 hours behind. That's how far they was running. And so all they had to do was stay backstage and party. I can only imagine, how they, well, you can look at a lot of them and tell they was pretty much out there. But that was the end of the 60s, and that was when things really started to change. There was a lot of other festivals, that come and went after that, but Woodstock was sure the big one. No, me neither, JW. That one in 99 was a mess. There's no way I'd have went to that. You knew that was going to be trouble from the word go. But I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of like that. I'm old-fashioned in a way. I still stuck in the 60s and 70s. Music passed me by. After 1980, it all passed me by. That's what I listen to, even today. I'm going to say this real quick here. If you're having trouble or you don't get prompted for these live streams or any of them, always go and check. I've been having some major issues with YouTube, and I went back to some of the channels I had subscribed to, and I know I clicked the notification bell on. Well, it was not clicked on. I didn't see it, their videos in my notifications, but I went into my subscriptions and looked, and there was new videos out, but I was never prompted for it. I have no clue why it happened. So if you would, even if you're subscribed to the channel, make sure you go and double check that the notification bell is clicked on, or you won't get the notifications on this. Now I set this one up around noon, and set it for 8 o'clock tonight. But I'm not sure what night. I think I'm going to do this once a week. I'm not sure if I want to do it on a weekday night or on Sunday night. I don't know which is best, or which is or which isn't, or what time to start it. Like I said, I started at 8 o'clock, but that's 8 o'clock my time. You know, that puts it 7 o'clock in Central and 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. Oh, Texas Jam 78. That was pretty good. That was. I forget. Yeah, that one I know. Frank Marino was there. Mahogany Rush, wasn't he, JW? I still watch. That's where I get a lot of my music still. I just go off YouTube and watch what I want anymore. I don't know. I don't, like I said, listen to radio, and I don't watch TV. I watch very, very little TV anymore. I do watch, but YouTube, I'm on YouTube all the time. That's where I get most of mine. I seen Frank Marino at a little 3,000 seat theater in St. Louis one time. He was really good. He was a good. Oh, I'll tell you another one that was good. I forgot about just now. That was at Woodstock in '69. Was Alvin Lee, that the English dude. What was the name of his group? I keep wanting to say Humble Pie. That's not it. 10 Years After. Alvin Lee, he was with 10 Years After. They did it. They did a good job, and I always liked his guitar playing. He was kind of bluesy. So JW, I know you're from Ohio. Ferd, where are you from? Were you from Michigan? I don't. Do a check-in, everybody. Tell me where you're from. Give me the state. And I don't mean state of confusion. Oh. Texas. Heard a little bit of everything in Texas. I remember, no, you wasn't on the last chat, was you, Ferd? I know where you're from, Ken. But you can still put it on there. You can too, Steve, if you want to. You can tell everybody where you're from. All my exes live in Texas. I just watched a deal on George Strait the other day, and it got off track naturally, as all things do. Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I thought we talked about Texas, so maybe we did it on off one of the videos or something. Hi, Chris. I make the 3-hour drive a few times a year from Peterborough. Oh, so you've been to the new theater and music and arts places they built? That is super cool. Now, is it? You say it's not on the original Woodstock site, though? I've wondered about that. I've seen pictures of that. Because I know they, I forget who owns that ground now, but it says they put up an amphitheater, and I guess, is there a museum or something there? I mean, I know that the old farmhouse is still there, and they got all kinds of pictures and plaques in front of that. I've seen them on the internet. Yeah, because while we was talking about Texas, Ferd, I got a brother that lives in Texas. He's in Corpus. And my son's in Texas right now, too. He's over between Houston and Galveston. I'm trying to look back. Where did Steve go? He was there once. It's on the original grounds. Oh, okay. I was wondering that. It looked, from the pictures that I seen of it, um, it looked like it was down in that, that bowl, that amphitheater type area they had. But I didn't know. That's something I like to just drive and see, especially now since they got it all put up. Have you been in the museum, Chris? That's a long way to go, but I'd love to go up there and see that, especially if that museum had a lot of pictures and everything like that. Yeah, I guess the roughest thing about being at Woodstock for a lot of them people would have been, the 350,000 or more that left before Jimi Hendrix came on. Especially if that was their only chance to ever get to see him. That had to, that would have really bothered me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing a live chat once a week. I'm probably leaning toward doing it on Sunday night. If I started at the right time, I think people will still have time to come in for an hour before they take off to bed or whatever. 4-hour drive. You're a 4-hour drive north of Houston? Okay. Yeah, okay, Chris. Yeah, I can dig that. I'm going to look that up online, that museum. I haven't been to New York in, oh, it's been, last time I went, I was in upstate New York around Jamestown and Chautauqua. But I know that Bethel, I don't know how far it is out of the city. It can't be that far, though. Just maybe, an hour north, kind of northwest of the city. That's my guess, anyway. Yeah, I'm sure it is, because, like I said, I've never been on the coast in New York. Every time I went by there, I went around it and on up through, in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. But we went up, um, I want to say it was the first week or second week of May. This has probably been, I'm going to guess 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And that was back when I lived up towards St. Louis. And it was just beautiful up there because it was still spring, early spring for them. And it was just beautiful country, that drive all the way up there. But I think if I go now, from where I'm at, Canucks with Guitars. That sounds like a good one, Ferd. I might do it, like I said, if I don't do it on Sunday, I might pick a Saturday or Friday night. I haven't decided yet. And I may just get sporadic too. Well, yeah, Seeger is pretty old, Larry. We're all old. Yeah, I haven't decided though what night, I want to do it on and everything like that. Um, and again, I may just do it as sporadic because I'm not real good at structure myself. I got to get a video out. I should have got it out this week, but I had some issues. Guitar nerd stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I got a couple friends I ought to tell about that. They're really big guitar nerds. I'm not much of a nerd on guitars. I just if I like something, I buy it, I play it. If it don't play right, I just get a different one. I don't mess with them that much. What kind of guitars you got, Ferd? What do you play? Hour and a half north of the city. Right. That's what I thought, somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah, but all of upstate New York is just beautiful. Reminds me of well, it's close to Pennsylvania, and I've been to Pennsylvania a lot. Hang on, I gotta check something here. Telly, a Les Paul, and an ES335 clone. Now, that's cool. I got a Les Paul clone here. It's one of the ones made by Epiphone. I was looking the other day. I had a Rush Doc. Oh, you mean the one on the concert? Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool concert. My Les Paul was it's an Epiphone copy, but I used to have. Oh, really? Yeah, it plays really well, and it's not so heavy. I was looking the other day. I used to have an 82 Custom, and I loved that guitar, and I could kick myself. I sold it in 1989 or 90. But I know, I looked and I seen one on Reverb, just exactly like it. And this thing was, it was the Gold Burst. It had the flip out tuners and all that stuff on it. And I saw it and I looked at it and I go, man, I'd love to just have that guitar again. But I remember I looked at it and they said the weight of it was 12 pounds, 12 pounds 8 or 12 pound 10 ounces. And I remember back then how heavy that guitar was. And there's no way I could stand up and keep that thing on my back anymore. There's not a way, but I sure would like to replace that guitar. I think of a lot of them that I got rid of. Some of it makes me sick. Back, like I said, when I was a kid, I found a picture the other day. I was 19 years old, and it was a 61 Les Paul. It was the SG shape. It was an SG before they called it an SG, actually. It had the front pickup, it was a little closer to the neck than the SG and everything. I had one of those. I had a 64 Telly around that time. And I'd sit there and think about them guitars. I said, boy, I wish I'd have just put them in a case and put them somewhere. What's the, let's see. It must be, yeah. Joe Cocker was good. High with a little help from me friends. Yeah, if I just had the money I spent on music stuff. I'm sitting here looking around my room now and I go, man, Kenny, I bought a thing called a cloud lifter. A cloud lifter. You ever heard of one? They're like an extra boost, an extra 20 dB boost for these microphones, these condenser microphones. And I thought, well, that's going to help because I was having to crank so hard to get the volume out of this thing. And I bought it and put it on there. And it didn't do. Yeah, it didn't do it. Look it up. You can look them up online. They're called a cloud lifter. Let me see if I can get this one here and show it to you. I don't know. I might unplug everything. Hang on. I'm going to unplug my mic for just a second. And I'll show this to you. come back here. Now that is supposed to take the place of a preamp. And it didn't work. I've seen great reviews on them. And I thought, well, I'll try that, then I don't have to do it. But it still didn't give it enough going into this computer. I mean, it is this microphone, to get it where it's at now, it is cranked just wide open almost. And I also put I got another little pedal here that it's a TC Helicon Harmony, a Harmony Singer, but it's got a boost on it, a preamp on it, and I got that in front of this, then going in to the board, to the computer, and I had a hell of a time getting this microphone to have enough to come out. Now these SM7Bs, this microphone here, there's they're a great sounding microphone, but they're notorious for not having a lot of output. You have to really boost them up. These was a great recording mic in their day. I think they still use them, but you have to get some preamp in front of it, and you have to get a lot. Yeah, I got the fan power on. JW, you got a Johnny Cash Martin? I try to make some good docs, Larry. I got one coming up. I'm going to try to do I'm going to do one on Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was going to have it out this week, but I don't have the book anymore, and all I got is memory, and I'm not sure I remember some things exactly properly, so I ordered the book again, a used book, and it hasn't got here yet, so I really can't finish it until I get it. And I really need to get a video out this week because I've only got 2 out this month, and I try to get 4 out a month. And then I don't know if you noticed or anything, you guys want to go and look, one of my Peter Criss videos is gone. I guess it had something in there that Peter's ex-wife Lydia didn't like, and they yanked it on me after like 4 months. So I'm running short on videos. I need to get another one out. Oh, just checking it out and dreaming, huh, JW? I don't spend the money on guitars like I used to. The last guitar that I bought was about 3 years ago. And I bought it for sentimental reasons. It was a very good friend of mine, and he passed away. And his wife sold it to me, and I just bought it and kept it here. And it's a Takamine. I can't get to it here and get it in the camera view because I got the camera focused in so close. I've got a MSB. I got an Alvarez. I got an old one here, and I just love it to death. I've had that thing. It is. I can't think of the numbers on it. It was an 82 anniversary model, and I bought it used in 86. and I've kept it all through the years. I've had 2 fret jobs done on it. And this guitar has it got the original old pickup in it. It's just got a volume and tone knob, no active electronics, no nothing. But it sounds, it's got a really good wood sound to it. It's got a solid top to it, and it's got really good sound. Oh, did you see Stevie Ray Vaughan in St. Louis at the Fox? What was that, 88? That's cool, Larry. Yeah, see, I don't spend time building guitars or anything. I build computers. I mean, and I was to the point here about 3 or 4 months ago, and I said, man, I am going to take and get rid of all of this computer stuff I got and just go out and buy me a brand new, everything new. And so here I sit. My desk is probably 4, 6, 7, 8 foot wide here. There's 3 monitors, 2 towers, 2 mixing boards. I got all kinds of junk in here. Entirely too much. Washburns, how do you like them? I've never had one. I think I played one time, but I don't remember. Hey, Larry Strict, when you saw Stevie Ray, that was in '88. Was that after he had quit drinking, after he had went to rehab, or before? I'm trying to think because he quit drinking a few years before he died. And I was just wondering, and people said he was actually a better player when they saw him live after he quit drinking. And I'm just wondering. Yeah, well, if you keep them 20 years forward, then they're good guitars. I got a Fender P bass here also, and I've had it for going on 30 years now, and I won't get rid of it. I don't play it anymore. I don't hardly play much anymore anyway. Just every once in a while. After drinking. Okay. Well, I've heard that's probably, them last couple of years was the best Stevie Ray ever sounded. Now, I don't know. That's all, what can I say? That's just personal. How people see things or how they hear things. Music's an art and everybody hears it different. But I've heard from quite a few people that he really, really sounded good then. And like I said, I'm getting ready to do a documentary on him. So I kind of look for any information I can get. Something I can put out there and people can scream at me about. Yeah, that Crafter guitar you got, Ken, that's a good guitar. I think sounded good. That Godin guitar, that's the one that Mike used to have, right? Yeah, I seen that Crafter. You had that before I left St. Louis. Yeah, it's a shame. Can you imagine what Stevie Ray would be like if he was still alive today? I mean, he was fantastic anyway, but give him another 30 years of play, and I mean, because he was so good in such a short period of time. He was like Duane Allman in a way. I did a video or a documentary on Duane Allman, and it was amazing how good and how fine he sounded in such a short period of time because he wasn't around that long. Third, arthritis is one of the reasons that I don't play that much anymore. My hands are and knuckles are really in rough shape. It's why I hardly ever touch a piano. I used to play piano too, and I can't do it anymore. I can play acoustic, but I can't finger pick anymore, and I can still play bass, but I can't really. My one finger won't work as fast as the other one. Warm up very carefully. That's a good idea, though. The 2 Austin concerts happened on those years. Yeah. Big difference between the two. Mm-hmm. Ferd, I know exactly where you're coming from, brother. Exactly. My acoustics, I used to, well, on my electrics, I always played like a custom light or a 10 gauge. The custom lights was more like a 911 16, and then like was it 26, 36, 46, or just a regular 10 gauge with like a 10, 14, 17. But I haven't played electric in years, but my acoustics, I used to play 12s on, which was, I believe that was a medium gauge. And then, I don't know, 10 years or so ago, I went down to 11s. And a couple of years back, I started putting extra lights on a 10 gauge. I couldn't do it anymore. It was like I was fighting the guitar. You know who uses really light gauge strings? I don't know if you guys have ever read this, but Billy Gibbons on his electrics, his starts out with like a 7 on his E string. I mean, it's like playing a piece of spaghetti. But they get good, as long as you get good tone out of it, that's all that matters. My first amp, it was an old, I believe it was a Magnatone. I'd bought it, my brother actually bought it at a pawn shop for me. But the first amp that I can remember buying was a PV Classic. And it was one of the real old ones. And it was like a 45 or 50 watt. It had like 2 power tubes and 2 12s. And it still had like the tremolo on it, the old country sounding tremolo on it. You got 10s on your acoustics, Ken? On all of them, huh? Oh, they do, Larry. I didn't know that. A set that starts with a 6. I couldn't do that. There'd be no way. I don't know how you'd even feel it. But I guess once you get used to it, and if you can get the tone, like I said, he's got a lot of. Billy's got the amplifiers and stuff to do it with to get that tone. Yeah, I don't buy elixirs down here, Kenny. And the reason for that is they're so expensive, and they don't last in this humidity down here. They don't last any longer. Really, maybe one extra job or something when you're playing. Like I said, now I don't play out that much, but even here, well, we run the air conditioner down here almost 12 months out of the year just to suck the humidity out of the house. And they'll go bad. Strings will go bad in here just sitting, even if I don't play it. So I just put whatever I find on it. The PV Band is 75. I remember before that even, JW, they also made one called it was a single speaker called a Pacer. I believe they was like a 45 watt amp maybe. And then they made the PV Classic. Out of a record cutting machine. I built my own amp. Yeah, I believe it. Did you look at that? Did you guys see that video I did on Elwood Francis? And he said that he had a Heathkit amp, one of them jobs you put together yourself. Yeah, you must be. I miss recording. I can't do it. I guess I can, but with my hands the way they are, my fingers won't do what my mind tells me, and it's hard for me, like especially playing bass. I have to really concentrate to stay up on the beat. It's getting hard for me. I can record here at my house. I got quite a lot of software and things like that, but I don't know. When you're here by yourself, it's just not the same. Yeah, the humidity down here is just, I walked out on my porch this morning, and it was about 7:30 this morning. And when I walked out there, I went, holy cow. Now, I live right on a lake, too. But it was 81 degrees, and the humidity was 92%. That was at 7:30 this morning. It was just awful. It's rained a lot here lately, too. Played to a PA. I had some good amps. From Grandpa's. You mean Grandpa Pigeons? I was talking to you, Kenny. I had quite a few amps as I got a little bit older. I had a 50 watt Marshall, and the one amp, I was always trading and buying and selling and stuff when I was, in my late teens and early 20s. And I traded this one guy. I had a rifle that he wanted. I had a Marlin lever action 44 Magnum rifle, and he wanted it, and he traded me. Now I give him that rifle and $250. This was probably back in 1970, 79 or 80. But I give him that rifle and $250, and he give me a 64 Telecaster. Now the Telecaster, the bridge position pickup was not the original pickup. It was a Strat pickup that he hadn't put in there. But either way, it was a 64 Telecaster. And the amplifier was an orange 200 watt head and a 412 high watt cabinet. Now I traded a rifle and $250 for that. And I had that for a while. You talk about a loud amplifier. But the Telecaster, it didn't sound real good to it. I had a Les Paul at the time, or a SG at the time, that really rocked. Oh, Orlando's terrible. I'm more on the coast, over toward Clearwater Beach. But in the center of the state, the humidity is and the heat is awful. I wouldn't live there. No way. Grandpa Pigeons. What was that one at, Ken, around there? I remember, wasn't there one on Manchester? Out west? Somewhere in that vicinity. Ugh. Yeah, humidity is the bad stuff. The hurricanes don't bother me too much. I mean, when Irma came through, Irma screwed things up. Not because it was such a bad hurricane where I'm at, but what happened was, when Irma was coming across and she made that turn and came up through the Keys and started heading north toward Florida. Well, when she got up on the Keys, people started evacuating the Keys. Well, then she turned and headed north, and people in Fort Myers and Miami and stuff started evacuating. And then it moved up, Northport and Punta Gorda, Fort Lauderdale. Everybody was evacuating out of Florida, coming up the peninsula. We only got, we got 4 highways heading north and south here, 2 interstates and 2 4 lanes. And by the time they got up to this area, toward the Tampa Bay and Orlando area, there was just no gas, and it was totally crowded. And I didn't leave. I stayed. I figured, here we go, whatever. I'm far enough away from the water to where I don't think I'll get flooded. And but what they did was they just, all the gas was gone. I had my cars, both of them, filled up. And believe it or not, I went all the way through that, and I did not lose power or I didn't lose internet the whole time. And there was people across the street from me that didn't have power for 10 days. But I didn't lose it, so I was very fortunate during Irma. But it taught me a lesson about the hurricanes down here, to make sure you're ready in a hurry and early. Don't wait. Was there a Grandpa Pigeons on Watson? I don't remember that. I remember one on Manchester, because it had a big sign up there and had that old boy with his arm on the cane. Yeah, no, hurricanes ain't nothing to mess with, JW. They're it's the water that's the main problem. You can get away from the wind. You can find places to go and hide from them, or you can do it, but the water comes in and it just floods everything out. Hurricane Charlie was awful, and I tell you what. If it wasn't for that little jog that Charlie made and cut in right about Punta Gorda and Northport and around in that area, it would have come right up. If it had come right up Tampa Bay, there would have been some major flooding down there. There's no doubt. And Charlie was packing some pretty good winds too, I believe. I don't remember exactly. Wasn't it a Cat 4? It was like close to 140, 150 mile an hour winds. I'll be darned. I didn't know that, Kenny. I'm getting me one of them. I'll tell you what I'm getting instead of a generator. Them there's a company called Jackery, and they got them power supplies that, you can charge up, but they also got them, where you can hook solar panels to them. And I was thinking one of them would probably do me. They'll run the solar panels all day. I got one of them little bitty refrigerators, and I'm not going to be able to run air conditioner anyhow. That's the part that worries me, is not having air conditioning. But if I could get something that'd pull a couple of fans, I could probably sleep out on my porch. The blue tarp capital. I tell you what, if you ever get up along the Panhandle and drive across even Highway 10, but if you come down I can't think, was that 20 that runs from Tallahassee across, and you get to where Michael came through. I went up there, this is August. I was up there in March, and you can still see, the trees are all still pushed, laying, where that cane came through there. And they're still trying to sell houses that haven't had roofs on them and things like that up there. I went up with another guy and looked at some property. He was thinking about buying some. And these places, they've been setting for like 3 years now, and they leak. And my God, the mold and stuff. And they're still trying to sell these things. You wouldn't believe the money they're asking for them. They really need to be bulldozed over. I got some of them blue tarps, though, Ferd. I got quite a few of them here at my house. Shoppers Fair. I remember Shoppers Fair, Kenny. Well, I tell you what, fellas, it's getting a little late, and I've been on here about an hour and 20 minutes, and I think it's just about time to pick it up and pack it up and head it down the highway. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about? Kenny? JW? Ferd? MSB? You still here? Larry Strick? You here? Anybody? Here. Oh, I thought that one. Never mind. Yeah, we're picking up a few more viewers. Hey, Ken, are you still are you working at Home Depot still? You're here, MSB. Yeah, I see just a few more people came in. Let's see if anybody says anything. Yeah, JW, it's been nice talking to you too, man. MSB, I don't know if I don't think you was on the last one, was you? I have trouble keeping up. Although I'm kind of glad it just stays kind of, in a small. You working at the prison, Ken? Kenny, you need to start that YouTube channel. Start that woodworking on YouTube. Them things go over good. Well, I didn't know that. I thought last I talked to you, you said you was going to work for Home Depot. You get that YouTube channel going. I know that some of the people here. I can link it up with my channel, and there'll be a few of them hop over that way. Oh, man, that's a shame, because I know you was interested in that gig. We're going to have to give me a call sometime, Ken, or something. We'll get together and catch up. I'm going to have to get off here, guys. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for coming by. I do appreciate it. Thank y'all, especially you guys who watch the videos and stuff. I appreciate that. Share them. Like I said, make sure you check to make sure that you've got your notifications turned on when you subscribe to the channel. You got a gardening channel, MSB? No, Philip McKnight's. I've never seen that. I'm usually, Ferd, I'm usually busy. I usually work on stuff during the day here. And then at night, Philip McKnight's Friday live stream. I'm going to have to come back through these, through the thing. I'll write these down. I'll check some of them out, Ferd. Thanks, JW. I appreciate that. Fridays at 5 p.m. Central. Okay. That'd be 6 my time. I'm usually out. We usually go out and eat fish on Friday. Don't ask me why. Because we're not Catholic, but we always go. It was kind of a habit, I think, from home. But I might try to check it out. All right, you guys. Y'all take care. And again, I thank you. Let's keep it going. We'll talk to you later. Bye.